I tell people all the time, relationships is worth more than money. There's a post on my page from about
Yes.
2015, 2016 where I say that don't go into every opportunity thinking about the money, right? Because you'll mess yourself up like that.
You're tuned in to the Event Gems podcast, the podcast where coaches, consultants, and speakers learn how to produce transformational and profitable events. I'm your host, Natasha Wright, Chief Experience Curator at the Diamond Butterfly. Join me and other industry experts as we teach you how to maximize the power of your next brand building event. Time to drop those gems. Let's fly. Hey, Trailblazers. Welcome to another episode of Event Gems, where we uncover the hidden gems to hosting impactful and profitable events. I'm your host, Natasha Wright of the Diamond Butterfly, where we help you produce strategic and soul-stirring events for businesses and organizations. We're having a bonus episode today, and I'm super excited about it because I met some amazing people at the Event Planners Expo last month. So if you checked out the last two podcasts ago, we had Erica on. She was one of the co-founders of the Event Planners Expo, and it's an event for people who are in the event industry, in the marketing industry, to really come together and network, connect, have a day of education, and there's also a trade show expo. So I'm excited to introduce you to some of those people that I actually met at that expo. And the first person I'm going to bring on today is Tina. Hey, Tina Marie, how you doing?
Hi, Natasha. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. I am so excited. Tina was actually the first person that I really connected with on that first day of the expo. It was a opening, what was it, opening party?
It was opening
Right. And so
party,
we
lots of
connected there first.
booze.
And then, yeah, yes, lots of booze, lots of entertainment, lots of food.
Oh,
And it was
yes,
a great
definitely.
way to start the conference before we get into the education day. And so, as we go along in the conversation, you'll kind of see like how our connection and relationship evolved, which I think is such a great way that events really allow us to connect with new people, network, and to be able to collaborate. So I'm going to bring on my second guest. My second guest is Michelle. Hey, Michelle.
Hello. Hi. How are you? Thanks for having me here.
Welcome. Good. Absolutely. We're so excited. So, Michelle, I actually met on the final day of this 3-day event. But she has been so encouraging and so amazing. And it's so great to be able to not only connect within our Fab Five group, which is what we call ourselves, right? But for us to be able to connect on social media and just share tips and resources with each other as well. So, the next person I'm bringing up is Trisha. Hey, Trisha.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, so Trisha, I think we met day two. Was it day two? I think so, right? We connected on day two of the event. Yeah, at one of the after parties that we went to after we had that educational portion of it. So,
Yeah, we couldn't find
we
it.
we brought in all the ladies. Right now, it's feeling like ladies' night. We- Right, we couldn't find it. We couldn't find it exactly. We're going to talk about some of those things too. So, a final guest for tonight to round out our bonus episode is Darius. Darius is the man in the middle. Hey, Darius.
What's up, y'all? Hey, how's it going?
It's
Can you hear me?
going. It's going. Now we have the Fab Five, which is what we call ourselves. And so, what I really like about these amazing group of people is that we met each other, but we also connected. And then after we connected, we had a Facebook group, not a Facebook group. I'm sorry, a text messaging group. And so we were just sharing resources with each other, following each other on social media, and building connections and relationship from there. So when I thought about what I would want the bonus episode to be, I thought, why not have it be an episode talking about building relationships at events? Right. I think that a lot of times we go to events and we think that we're going for the education or the information that we're getting, but really one of the number one reasons why people attend events is because of the networking that it offers. It's the networking, the education that you're going to get, and also just you being able to stay informed about industry trends. So before we jump into the conversation, I'm going to have each one of these amazing people introduce themselves and talk a little bit more about their business. So Tina, do you want to go ahead and just introduce everyone to you and let them know what your business is all about?
Of course. My name is Tina Marie, not to be mistaken with the singer. I am the principal of Siren Business Consulting, and we empower business owners to enhance profitability by simplifying their expense management.
So basically, what it sounds like is making sure that you keep that money where the money's supposed to be, right? That's what I'm hearing,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So
Yes,
Tina is
believe it or
saying,
not, yes.
listen, this is where the money resides. All right,
Yes.
so we're going to go ahead. Michelle, can you share a little bit more about your business?
Sure. My name is Michelle from Mashik Events. I started fully this year. It's a full event planning business. Also, we do design and decor. As you can see, the balloons in the back is part of something that I would handle with my business. And pretty much we handle all aspects of your events from Mashik Events.
So, for those of you who might be listening to the audio version of this podcast, please be sure to head over to YouTube at the Diamond Butterfly and actually check out the video so you can see the beautiful design behind Michelle. It's given like Japanese blossom or something like that in the background with the purple brand colors. I absolutely love it. So next up, we're going to have Trisha. So Trisha, can you talk a bit more about your business and what is it that you do?
Sure. So I'm Trisha. My company's name is XS Events and Design, and we are also a full service planning, coordinating, and design company. We're moving forward or moving into production more. So we still have planning and coordination aspects to our company, but production, it's becoming a production company in the sense that it's all in-house or one-stop shop. So if you were to come to me with like your wedding, you essentially wouldn't have to go to anybody else because I could provide you with any and every vendor you can possibly think of. That's what I do.
In my mind, that's like global domination.
That's what we're trying to
It
achieve.
definitely is. And, that's one of the things that with my business I've been thinking about. Yeah, how can I offer more full service? So literally you come to me and I'm the one-stop shop for everything that you need, or at least, I can provide you with guidance as to vendors that you might want to incorporate. So next we're
Right.
going to go to Darius. Darius, can you tell us a little bit more about your business and what it is that you do?
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, my name's Darius. I'm the founder of Echelon Event Rentals. We're based in Baltimore, Maryland. We do service the DMV. We're gonna stay global, think global and not local at all. I also co-own an art collective, which is also an event-based business as well. A little bit about my business. It's a party equipment rental company. So, I have your standardized tables, chairs, tents, canopies, anything that's party equipment related, we pretty much have and can be rented.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. So again, another one-stop shop type of thing. Early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I used to attend events and conferences for the information, right? I would go
Mhm.
and I'm sitting front row because I want to learn and I want to know what are the tips or the tricks or the things that I need to be doing. And then, as you progress in the entrepreneurial journey, you're like, all right, I know some of these things already. And it's really just about pulling out those key things that I really need to do in this moment and this season in my life. Because before I used to inundate myself with all the information and do none of them, right? That's why I think that when you're attending events or attending conferences, it's important to be self-aware enough to know where am I in my business and what it is that I'm looking for before you attend that event. So when that one gem drops, you're like, oh, that gem is for me. That's the gem that I needed to really pivot or do something different in my business. Do you guys agree with that? How do you view attending events or conferences to get education? So we're just gonna talk about the educational aspect first, and then we'll kind of dive into like the network and connection part.
I'll go
I,
first.
Anyone
yeah,
want
go
to
ahead.
kick it off?
For me personally, I know when the education experience, it's totally different when you're viewing it through a screen, whether it's your phone, your computer, laptop,
Mhm.
or what have you. But when you receiving that knowledge in person, it's a whole nother obviously it's an experience, but it's a whole different feeling. It's like the speaker who's on stage, they have you captivated, and you can hear the same exact information online or where have you, but when they
Yep.
like in front of you on stage, it's perceived so much different. And
Yeah.
it's like your mentor, your teacher's like right there in front of you. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to execute because you're right in front of me and you're telling me to do so.
Yeah, it's almost like you're looking in my
Um,
eyes and you're speaking directly to me. You're like, oh, was that for me? Okay, all right, got you. Go ahead, Darius.
yeah. I would definitely say the same thing. It's just being there is a totally different experience. Myself, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so everything pretty much has to be hands on with me, or I'm just not really going to grasp it. I could read a piece of paper and, get the fundamentals down, but, just being in the presence of like-minded individuals and everybody has the same hunger and drive, you're focusing on what's at stake, so you have your Todd Hartley, your Marcy Bloom, your Gary Vee. So those are all three major keynote speakers that we got to hear from, and we've probably all followed them before we actually got to hear them, and it just hit different at that point. So when they're giving out the actual gems, like literally the entire hall was writing stuff down in their notes on their phone, or they had pen and paper, because you didn't want to miss that. Like, oh, you can scroll down your timeline all day and listen to what they're saying, but we have Gary Vee in front of us right now. Like, we have Marcy Bloom in front of us. Like, these aren't any lowball people. So it's like you have to take what they're dishing out and just fulfill yourself with it, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I hear two things, right? I hear number one, you can't look at these 15, 30-second clips that you see on Instagram and think that you're really getting the full playbook as to what's happening.
Yeah.
You really have to be in person and absorb that information and be immersed in the experience, which is why events are so important for you to really be immersed into, because the information hits differently than it does, right? From a 15-second clip. So I really love that you both touched on that, how different in person is. Michelle, can you talk about from your personal perspective, is there a time that you remember attending an event or connecting with someone and that has like changed your whether business or personal trajectory? Have you ever had an experience like that?
Absolutely. When you go to these events, you meet people and you bond with them. You share resources, you just network. You're able to collaborate with them and perhaps, work together in the future. But it's very important, to attend those events.
So do you have a personal story? So is there like one significant thing that stands out to you that you can recall?
I actually collaborated with one young lady. We worked on a wedding together. We worked on a wedding reception together. And by working together, word of mouth, they see you at this event, and then questions arise and they ask, who is this person? Who's Mashik Events? And that built a relationship with individuals with for working together in other events. Say, for instance, someone had an event and they remembered me from that event. So they called upon me to work with them. So it's resource sharing, like vendor sharing, just sharing information with one another. That's how you build relationships with people.
Yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point too. I think sometimes we don't, how they say, closed mouth don't get fed type of thing. A lot of times, maybe even if you connect with someone, you're not necessarily like talking specifically about what you do or looking directly for ways that you can collaborate together. And so I think that that's such an important point is if there is synergy between you guys, how can you think about, and maybe it's not in that moment, but how can you think about long term, ways that you can all collaborate with each other. So I really love that. So I'm going to go to you now, Trisha. So I really want to know, in your opinion, right, what are some of the most powerful ways to really connect at industry events? Because I'll say this before you answer that question, Trisha. Trisha has a very vibrant personality. And so, when we connected, she was like a ball of fire. I was like, oh, who's this? Super high energy, super personable. And so I would imagine, whenever you go to events, you're leaving there with something. You're leaving there with something. Okay. So talk about, from your opinion, like what are some of the important ways for you to be able to connect with other people at events?
So
Yes.
that was my first industry event. I'm trying to do more now that I am like out of the water of being a new mom. So I have more time to dedicate and I have more support. But the expo was my first real industry event outside of putting together smaller events in my professional career. But in general, just whenever I'm working, or I feel like as an entrepreneur, you have to be on all the time. It's not even just when you're working an event specifically is when you need to be on and networking and talking, because you just never know who you're going to meet. I mean, it could be at the most random place ever, which is also exhausting because sometimes you just want to be quiet and like go to the grocery store and just do what you need to do and come home, but you just never know who you'll meet. So for me, I think my personality definitely helps me with that. I'm just a friendly person and I am loud. I think that it gets misconstrued a little bit
You're a
though,
great
but
qualifier, great
that's just
qualifier.
how I am. That's how I come into a room, and people either gravitate towards it or fall back a little bit and then come to me. So it always works. Just it's my authentic self, and it's just about having a conversation. I'm not necessarily always having a conversation with someone to get something out of it or vice versa. It's just, me being friendly. So whatever comes from it comes from it. I think just being your authentic self and being the same person. I think this was also touched upon in the expo in the speaker series, where you should be the same person in your business and in your personal life as well, not lead a double life, because people gravitate towards that more.
I love what you talked about. Sometimes you feel like you're always on, but you also have to stay ready for the opportunities, right? Stay ready, so you have to get ready. Be open to what opportunities might come, not only from an event, but just out and about in the world, because you could connect with someone in the most random of places. So I love that you shared that insight. So Darius, I know you had a system, and I was very impressed. So with regards to your system around networking and how you're connected with people and how you're keeping track of all their information, I was like, wow, okay, so you got a game plan, and I need to step my game up. So can you talk about what your strategy was and how you did that, and then also, what do you think are some of the most powerful aspects of networking at industry events?
No, for sure. So I've knew about the Event Planner Expo, I want to think, since about 2017. Never attended though. So I've been in the event industry since 2016. So I was an event planner. I joined one of their live segments, but that didn't do much for me because, like again, I said I need to actually be there and understand what's going on. So, leading up towards it, I rebranded myself to do event rentals. Been an event planner since 2016. It's just less logistics involved. I just want to be the rental guy at this point. But networking and bringing people together is just something I've always been good at, in a sense of which, again, let me say this part for sure. I think it was great that I went to the Event Planner Expo alone because it forced me to mix and mingle and meet like-minded individuals such as you guys. Here we are today networking. So it forced me to touch shoulders with people I probably wouldn't have talked to outside of the DMV area. As far as the system, it was just on some, I was hungry.
Right.
I'm coming up to New York with a purpose. So, and I'm like, I'm not leaving this event right here until I have at least 10 contacts. And then the next one, it was a 3-day event. So I left in total with 30 connections. But that's still a lot. Yeah, that's a lot when it's 2,000 people. You like, damn, I'm talking to 10 people a day. So it's like, I actually had a conversation with a guy earlier that I met at the opening party. And he works with website creation and SEO. He reached out to me. We chopped it up. So just bringing him into my network and him bringing me into his network as well. So it was extremely beneficial. And the networking events, just search for events within your city. Even if it's not in your city, if it's an hour, 2 hour wait, and you but put yourself in those rooms. When you put yourself in those rooms, that'll cause you to break that shell for sure.
So can you talk a little bit more about your system? Because you had a pretty meticulous system, okay? When you showed
Yeah,
us your phone, I was like, wait a minute, okay. I'm just
let
over
me
here collecting
see.
cards and saying I'm gonna follow up with people, but you have like an actual
Oh,
like spreadsheet in your notes. So can you talk a little
I
bit about that and
did.
maybe just kind of walk people through why it's important to kind of have a system, right?
Right. So I'm kind of trying to big myself on organization, because with this being a new business and all, you definitely want to stay organized with all of your connections, all of your contacts. So the notepad, the note sheet that you were talking about, I got name, email, your role, where you're based out of, and your social media handle. Because it's like if somebody reach out to me for an event in NYC and I'm unable to travel, I now have 5 people that does event rentals that I met in NYC and I can dish them off, right? So now it's like, okay, I'll forge an email,
Mm.
myself, the client, and the connect. So I've never had a conversation with the connect before. However, now I'm bridging that relationship. So now we have a relationship and that client has a new connect. And now that client just built a relationship with somebody I connected them with. So networking can come in all different ways. Even if you can't take on the event, pass it to somebody that can. And if y'all don't know each other, guess what? Y'all just build a relationship. So now that person is bound to do the same exact thing. And again, like the emails, it's crazy because I haven't followed up with a lot of people yet. But soon I'm definitely planning on putting out an email just to say, hey, I know it's been some time. Maybe the video. Y'all remember what Ty Hartley said? Send them the video. I might post a video and say, listen, we met
Mm-hmm.
at
Mm-hmm.
this day, and we go from there. But definitely just want to bridge those connections for sure.
Awesome. And we know one person who definitely made sure that she sent out those emails. I think it was the next day with Tina. So I love
She
what you
did.
did with the newsletter, Tina. Listen, it was fire. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I need to get myself
Uh-huh.
together because I feel like I go to events, I get business cards, I may
Hmm.
connect with a few people, but I don't fully maximize all the people that I could possibly connect with, right? And so it's one of those things where I have to change my ways, right? So can you talk a little bit about what was your strategy with people and highlighting what it is that you do in your business and making sure that they know what you have to offer and could possibly reach out to you at a later time?
So my mentor, he gave us like this nugget as far as reaching out to individuals or businesses through social media and sending an introductory email to the business, not just like, I guess we call it like cold calling emails. And so when Todd Harley
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the email introduction for proposals, that kind of like sparked like, oh yes, this is something I've done in the past, but it's a kind of like a twist. But it was also a way for me to remind someone like, hey, this is me, we met. And just having that in the email, it's like, okay, I remember you because you were, whatever I was wearing, or we have these long conversations opposed to just like a flat out email where they just like, okay, it's another someone like a spam that got my information or what have you. So now it's like, okay, I remember you because you can put the face to the name. And then although they may not reach out now, but in the near future or in the, long term, I can always go back and say, hey, it's me again, XYZ. And like Darius was saying, form that connection. So I know that, in our technology, what's offered to us right now as far as AI and all these other things, but I also feel that also staying connected at one-on-one, even though we not be able to do it in person, but just having that visual, like, hey, a warm face and just having that connection, not just another blank, okay, here is my information, call me, give me your business. Just like, again, like Darius was saying, forming that connection, warm them up. And you never know if you could be a service for them for a quick tidbit, or it could be a referral for something else that you never know, or it could be an opportunity that you may want to pivot altogether into a different industry. So that's probably my thought process behind there pretty much.
Yeah. And to piggyback real quick, because she had mentioned opportunity, just making these connections. I tell people all the time, relationships is worth more than the money. There's a post on my page from about
Yes.
2015, 2016 where I say that don't go into every opportunity thinking about the money, right? Because you'll mess yourself up like that, right? In the event rental business, if you're renting by bulk, you'll make some good money, right? But if you have an opportunity to build a relationship, I'd much rather build a relationship and a solid foundation with you than to charge you $1,200 for a 4-hour event and then I'm picking up right after. Now it's just like you're a client, but I know we can do so much more together. So we can make money together. So you know what? Let's build this relationship. And I'm not saying to go do it for free. If they say, you know what, if y'all come to like some type of understanding, then cool. But you know, sometimes you got to do stuff off of strength just to build these relationships. I'm a firm believer in that.
I think that's a great point because it becomes less transactional. I think sometimes in business, things can become transactional. Hey, I have this service here and I want you to pay me for the service that I have to offer. But if you're really trying to build an authentic connection with your client, then it's not just about the money, right? And it becomes where you are willing, like I have done more than I got paid to do with working with some of my clients, right? And they've appreciated that because it's not just, oh, well, you only pay me for this. Now, granted, you still have to put a boundary so that you're not being overridden or you don't have scope creep, which happens a lot. If it's something that you choose to do or you feel like it's the right situation, then why not offer additional value? Michelle, I know that for you, within your business, you work with people who are within your network. Can you talk a bit more about how you've been able to grow your business just through building through your own personal relationships?
Back to what you said, everything is not about money. When you build relationships with people, they want to see your authentic self. They would like for you to give your best when you're doing an event. They want balloons. You do balloons. They'll pay a certain dollar amount for the balloons, but you're going to give your best when you do these events because people remember how you made them feel. You show up and you come with a great attitude, and they'll refer you to other clients, other people that are looking to hire an event planner, a decorator, a designer. But you have to build that trust with individuals. And when you do arrive at that venue, you produce and you just build that trust with each person. That's how you build the relationship.
Yeah, a major part of my business is through referrals. You know, I post on social media, but a lot of my business comes through referrals. And so, to your point, you know, if you provide a great service and people see that you go above and beyond, and people see that you're not just nickel and diamond or you're not being transactional, they're going to want to refer you because you're building a deeper relationship with them outside of like, here's a service, here's your money type of thing. So I think that that's a very important point to bring up. And then, you know, Trisha, for you, as you talk about this global expansion or this full service business that you're scaling to, I think within that context, it becomes collaboration over competition, right? Within the industry. So how do you, when you hear that phrase, how do you navigate that with how you're looking to grow and scale your business?
Yeah, I think Michelle and I spoke about this when we first met at the expo, where of course there's competition in our industry amongst ourselves, but for me, I don't like to look at it like that. I feel like we should all be uplifting each other. There's a lot of business out there for everybody to succeed and get maintain their goals or get to their goals. I think you could learn from your competition in a positive way, and even vice versa. I mean, someone who's better than you is not better at everything and can definitely take away something if they give you the time of day to even have a conversation to figure that out, because a lot of people are very closed-minded, and you know, they do, like, especially in from a planner perspective, I've experienced that firsthand. I've met a lot of planners and coordinators that kind of seem intimidated or just standoffish because I'm obviously a competitor because I'm in the same role, but I again, I don't see it like that. I feel like if we collaborate, we can conquer more, we can take on more, we can become better, which is why this group, our Fab Five group, is the best thing, in my opinion, the best takeaway from my first expo, because this is essentially why I went, right? Like I want to talk to or keep in touch with, for long-term, like-minded people. We're in different areas of the industry, and it's all about just helping each other and helping each other grow, because if I grow, you guys grow, So that's how I see it. I think my company becoming more of a full service production company and being able to offer my clients anything and everything and anybody and everyone comes from that mentality where I don't like to view people as a threat. I want to collab with people. That's just going to help me and my brand. I think a lot more people should think like that, because it's rare, I feel, still.
I agree. And I think a lot of times too, especially when you think about collaboration, it's almost like, well, who's going to be out front? Who's going to be the lead, right? So I've been subcontracted on plenty of projects, and my business or my company is not at the forefront. You wouldn't even know I'm a part of it unless I talk about it to someone or I share it on social media. And so I think sometimes we have to think about collaboration also from the perspective of, it's not always going to be a situation where where your business or your company is out front shining,
right?
But it could be a situation where you collaborate with this person and you're subcontracted with them, or you're supporting them with what they're doing and their business is shining. And then when you get an opportunity, then you could do the same thing for them, right? So right. I think that's how we should look at it sometimes, as opposed to it being, well, what's in it for me?
It's like going into a project for the money, where that's not why you should be looking at it. Because if you're not the face of the project, you gain a lot behind the scenes. The people you meet, you still gain the experience. It's something that you could add to your portfolio.
Exactly.
You don't have to be in the limelight.
Just to talk about the spirit of collaboration. If people think about collaboration as that other person, companies, or individuals helping you in your weakness. So they may be stronger in a certain area. When you think about collaboration, people have to think of it as a much broader, and not just like, I'm going to outshine you in this particular way, or I'll get more recognition because I'm better at doing this than you. So people definitely have to like really seek and say, okay, I need help. You collaborate with someone because I need help in doing this in order for me to succeed.
Yeah.
I know you need help in this. So let's get together, and how we, like Trisha was saying, how can we come together and build upwards?
It's a variety of skills. So one person may know how to do the balloons again. Trish may know how to do the table setting, vice versa. So it's a diverse group of individuals working together. It's not a competition. The industry is so saturated. It's enough fish in the sea for everyone to eat. Yeah. So it should never be a competition. You always are going to learn something from someone, because you don't know everything. That may not be your expertise to do balloons. It's not your expertise to be a DJ. It's not your expertise to have the rentals. So each person is bringing something to the table. So that's, it's diverse. It's not a competition.
Yeah. Without that mentality, that well-rounded mentality, you can't be a jack of all trades. Your business will never be successful.
Yep.
You absolutely can't be. You can't know everything.
Right. There's no way. And it's never going to grow.
You'll burn yourself out trying to do everything.
100% agree.
Burnout.
Because, or you're going to have staff to do all of those things. And, a small business owner, the reality is we don't have the money to pay 10 different people or put them on salary to do those things. So the best way is to collaborate with people within your industry or your peers. And that allows you to take on larger contracts, bigger projects, because you essentially expand your capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I think it's important for us to talk about, trust and reliability, right? Because if you're going to collaborate with people, you want to make sure that it's people that you could trust, people that you can rely on. Because if, let's say, if your company is the lead, then we want to make sure that you're upholding your reputation for good quality work and excellence. Darius, can you talk a bit about how important that is? You had posted, you went to an event, you set up, you did like the marquee sign, you set it up, and you said it's important to do this because number one,
Oh yeah,
it's like the person doesn't have to come and fiddle with the lights and not be sure how to turn
right.
it on. And it provides consistency of quality across the board. So
Oh
can you
yeah.
talk a little bit more about how trust plays a part in growing your business?
Yeah, I think what you're referring to is the client, how I stayed there with them to set up the marquee numbers. Because again, like
Mm-hmm.
when it comes down to
Mm-hmm.
certain rentals, you can come pick up tables, you can pick up chairs, you can pick up linens, but stuff is like the marquee numbers. It's like, no, I have to deliver them, I have to set them up. So once I have it there, and it just doesn't move again. But I just had to sit there for a little while and actually work with the client and figure out what they wanted and what they needed. So that way I can better accommodate them. And that just opens up doors for like communication amongst you and your clients. So when they go to refer you, they'll say, hey, he was real communicative. He showed up on time. He stayed a little bit longer. He made sure this was that and the third. And if you feel like your equipment or rentals or balloons or anything is going to be, it's okay to turn down clients. It's very okay to turn down clients. If you feel like your equipment might get damaged or
Mm-hmm.
anything, like, go to another planner. Like, no, I'm okay. I don't think I want to take on this event. And that's fine.
Everybody's not a client.
Everybody is not a client.
So what I hear, everybody's not a client. Everybody's not your client. You know what the quality of your work should be. And so sometimes the clients want to dictate how it should be, right? But you have to stand firm in your expertise and say, hey, now this is how we have to do it, right? Otherwise, you're going to compromise the quality of the work that I'm doing, right? And that's going to compromise me getting a referral. So I think that that's important. It's really setting the standard of excellence for your business, knowing what's right for your business and not necessarily letting the clients dictate that for you, but really you as the business owner being a guide as to how that event can be successful. So I really loved this conversation. Thank you so much, guys, for hopping on here with me today. I know we're recording late night, but I really wanted all of us to just kind of connect. And I think it's so important for people to see the dynamic that we have, right? To see how we're connecting, how we're collaborating, and how important it is for you to have a deeper relationship with someone that you might have met at the event. Don't just take their business cards and be like me and not reach out, but also think about how you can deepen the relationship while you're there. So with us, we connected over lunch. So even if you're an event host, think about how are you incorporating ways for attendees to connect at the event, because this is the byproduct, right? This is the byproduct of people connecting and collaborating, and it's exactly what you would want. Is for people to be able to connect and collaborate, and for them to be able to grow themselves personally or professionally. So I think that that's an important part. Sometimes, especially when I see agendas, it's just speaker, 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 right? So we have to really be intentional about our run of show and making sure that people are able to connect with each other, give enough time for a lunch break so people can connect with each other at lunch. Possibly you can even give an exercise for people to collaborate with each other at lunch so they could bond a little bit more, because that's the part that really increases the overall experience for everyone. Yes, we learned some great information, but that continued by the relationships that we're able to build. So before we close out this episode of the Event Gems podcast, I'm just going to ask each one of you to leave us with one last gem. That could either be event related, business related, personal related, whatever you want it to be. The floor is yours. So I'm going to start with you first, Darius. What's one last gem you want to leave everyone with?
I want to say, trust your process because everyone's is different. Keep your goal the same. If you have to change your plan 1,000 times, change the plan. But the one thing that shouldn't change is the goal, because you have an end goal of knowing where you need to be. And there's forever going to be obstacles in our way. So, the plan is always going to change, but the end goal remains the same. So just trust your process because everyone else is look different.
Love it, love it, love it. Tina, what's one last gem that you'd like to leave us with today?
I would say get out your comfort zone, go out there and just talk to people, like random people. That's pretty much what I do. But just random people, just talk, share your story, share, you know, what share a story that can help someone in their day, a problem or issue that you have going on with you, and then just open and just talk to a stranger that may say, okay, I talked to this person and it helps me give me more clarity within my personal or my professional life. So I would say just be open and just make connections and don't be afraid of what other people think. That's something that I've learned along the way in my professional business is just be open, be yourself. And like Trisha was saying, just be authentic because that's all you can be. And that's how you can always show up.
Love it. Michelle?
Hi, be transparent and take that first step, because just taking that first step is the biggest step. And it's okay to talk to people about what you're going through, personal life, events, etc. Just as Tina said, you never know what a person is going through. So it's okay to speak with people because you never know if that person has the same interests as you have. And trust the process, because eventually, if you stay focused on what you're doing and what you believe in, it'll happen for you. And that's pretty much all I have for right now. Thank you.
Awesome. Trisha?
I would say don't give up. We're in a very grueling industry. Just being a business owner, small business owner, and an entrepreneur is very taxing mentally and physically. It's cliche, but you can't give up. And putting in, I mean, you have to really be honest with yourself how much work and how hard you're actually working without feeling like something will fall into your lap, because that's not how it works, obviously. Just going back to other people have said, trusting the process, but just not giving up, because it's hard, but it's very rewarding.
Yep.
I love it. Those were some awesome, awesome gems.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much all for being here, the Event
Thank you
Gems podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to the Event Gems podcast. So I hope you caught those gems. Now let's fly.